Yo, what is up guys? It's Blade here, and today I'm back with a long-awaited, heavily requested tutorial, and in this tutorial we're going to be going over on how to make a Minecraft server using Bukkit. Now Bukkit basically allows you to put plugins in your server, and you've probably seen these in a public server that you might have played on before. So my two previous tutorials goes over on how to make a Minecraft server, one by port forwarding and one using Hamachi. And if you rather prefer a server that is vanilla, meaning it doesn't have any plugins and you just want to play with your friends, then go ahead and use those two tutorials instead, which are linked down below in the description as well as on the screen. So the video on the left goes over on how to make a vanilla server by using a program called Hamachi, and the right video goes over on how to do the same by port forwarding, which is a tad bit harder but more efficient. So anyways, we're going to be port forwarding our server for this video. However, if you don't know how to port forward or you just don't want to, you're more than welcome to use Hamachi, which I might cover later on in the video. Now I made it easier for you guys, and I pre-made the server already just for time's sake, and also because Bukkit really requires you to configure the settings and plugins really well to make it actually work, which I know can be time consuming. So go ahead and go to the link down below in the description and download the server file. It should be a Dropbox file, however it might be a different site in the future depending on the traffic of the downloads. You'll need to extract it using WinRAR, which is also linked in the description if you don't have it. So before we start, you need to make sure that you have more than 4 gigs of usable RAM, and you can check this by going to Start, right click Computer, click Properties, and then by installed RAM, make sure you have at least 4 or more to run a stable server. If you have less, you can still run it, however you'll experience lag with a lot of people on it. You need to disable Windows Firewall as well as by going to Control Panel, Security, turn Windows Firewall on or off, and make sure that both is off. You also need the latest update of Java runtime, which is also linked down below. Simply just go to this website and download the one that is applicable to your computer. For instance, I'll download the x86 version here because I'm running a 32-bit computer. However, if you have a 64-bit computer, download the x64 version. To find out if your computer is 32 or 64-bit, you basically just go back to the control panel where you found your RAM, and it should say right here. And yeah, so be sure to click on it after it downloads and just go ahead and install it. It should be a pretty easy installation. Also, I've changed my mind and decided to use Hamachi for hosting the server because it's pretty prominently easier. So yeah, so just go to the site and download Hamachi. Check the box right here and click on download on unmanaged. Once it's done downloading, I'm gonna install it, and we're gonna fire it up by clicking the power button here. You might want to create a new account, so go ahead and do so. Once it's up, go to network, create a new network, just put anything for a name and put 123 as password. Now we will minimize this. Now after getting all that done, go ahead and open up the server folder, and here you'll find all the files and everything that you need to pretty much run your server. Now I did use a craft bucket alternative called Spigot to run this, which will significantly increase your server's performance and stability. Notice that this tutorial is for Minecraft version 1.8, however it is future proofed because as soon as a new version of Spigot or Bukkit becomes available, I'll update the Dropbox link so it'll be easier to update. Alright, now before messing with the files and stuff here, I'm going to teach you guys how to update the server version by yourself. So the first thing you want to do is just go ahead and navigate to the site. It's called spigotmc.info/spigot, and there should be a mirror directory for the official Spigot version. Now what you want to look for is the latest version that was supplied by Spigot. So now do note that it's not in chronological order, so you're gonna have to look for it, and the latest of right now would be September 3rd right here. Okay, so September 3rd seems to be the latest here, and you just want to click on the Spigot version here. Do note that it does say 1.7.10, however all 1.7.10 version will work with 1.8 servers, so don't worry about that. Now I'm not 100% sure on version 1.8.1, maybe they haven't released it yet, and I'm not sure if 1.7.10 will be compatible with it, but yeah, so this seems to be the latest, and we're gonna go and click on it, and it should start a download. It should be a jar file. Just save it to your desktop here. Now don't click save. You want to make sure you do this. So you want to highlight the whole name over here before .jar, and you want to rename it to Craft Bukkit, like that, CraftBukkit, and just make sure you type that in, hit save, and it should download it. Alright, it's done downloading, and basically it's right here. We renamed it. So what you would do is just open back up your server folder, and this part is again only if you want to update your server. So you don't have to do this every time, but this is what I'm showing you guys in case if there is a new Bukkit or a new Minecraft version that gets released. So now what you want to do is just delete the craftbukkit.jar file that's already in our server folder, just like that. And now we're gonna drag in the craftbukkit.jar file that we made, and there you go. Then you just go ahead and hit run, and it should run your server for the first time. Hopefully you don't get any errors. If you do, you might have to look in the FAQ from now on, but yeah, so this should just run through a bunch of stuff here, and technically your server is on, but there's a lot more configuration to be made. So we're gonna, after it's done loading all that, we're just gonna type in stop in the prompt here and hit enter, and the prompt should go away. And now we're gonna move on to the configuration part. Now that last step you obviously don't have to do if you're watching this tutorial for the first time. Again, it was only if you wanted to update your server version, therefore you obviously did have to have the server made a long time ago. So I also found out that after recording that last clip, that version 1.8.1 is compatible with version 1.7.10 Spigot. So yeah, so anywho, this part however you have to do in order to get your server to actually work. So do note that there is a EULA text file here, and I already have taken care of it, so you don't have to worry about that. Now you want to look for a file called server.properties, and it should be right here. And basically you want to right click on it. I'm going to go to open with, and it's just a notepad if you're on Windows 7. However, if you're on Windows 8, you would go to choose default program or something of that nature, and browse for wherever it says notepad, hit OK. Now do know that this is the only part that are going to be using the notepad. You will need a program called Notepad++, which is a alternative to Notepad, and it's basically way better. And I left a link to Notepad++ download in the description. Anyway, so this is like the core options for your server. So here we will edit some things here. There are some other things that you could edit upon your preference, but I would just recommend sticking to what I edit here. So the first things are everything from here are okay. The ports are okay. A level seed, if you have a seed, you can put that in right there. Server IP is the thing we're going to be worrying about here. So to get your server IP, you have to open back up Hamachi. So just go ahead and do that. And once you have Hamachi opened up, you want to hover over your IP address, which should be right here. And you want to right click on your IP address and copy IPv4 address. And then you want to go back to your notepad here, and you want to Control V or just right click and paste that IP right there. Now max players, this is how much players you want to allow into your server. Since you're hosting this on your computer, I recommended just leaving it at 10. However, you can change it to whatever you want, but just know that if you go over 10 people, you will need a pretty decent computer to handle that. Mobs and everything looks okay there. Here we have the motto of the day. This is where you want to put your server name. So highlight where it says server name and type in anything you want. I'm gonna put Splades server, just like that. And these fancy numbers and letters are like coding for colors, which I left a link in the description. If you want to change the colors, there's a website where it tells you the codes for the colors. And here is like the version of your server, and you can change it to like 1.8.1 since that's what is going to be working with us. So we're going to go to file and save it. There's nothing else to pretty much like edit, so we're done with that. We're going to hit X, and now let's go over a few more things in here so you can minimize Hamachi here. Alright, there is a plugins folder, which I'll get into the next part. It's not part of the configuration, we'll deal with that later, but here you have all your stuff. Pretty much don't mess with anything here pretty much, but this of course you had to. And the server icon here is like a server icon that appears on the left of the menu when you're in Minecraft, and that's what it is. And basically I just put a default. server icon here. That's my logo, by the way. And basically, if you want to change that, all you have to do is just go onto Photoshop or something like that and make a icon that's 64 by 64. It has to be a PNG file, and you have to rename it to server-icon. And whenever you make that picture, just drop it into this folder and it should appear on your thing, but I'll just leave it as that. And everything here is fine. You don't want to mess with anything. These are where your band lists and stuff goes, and whitelist is somewhere over here. But we're going to go into plugins now, and we're going to go into permissions. Now this permissions is what you want to use to allocate a specific player to a group. So if you want a player to be an admin, if you want a player to be just a builder, if you want a player to be a donator, rank, whatever, this is where you would do all that stuff. Now there is a lot to edit with these things, so I did leave a tutorial down below in the description, and if you want to find out how to edit it and edit the permissions and stuff, you could check that tutorial. It's like a full-blown tutorial. It'll help you a lot. So I'm just gonna show you like the basics of it. So I'm gonna double click it and it should open up in Notepad++. So that's where you will need Notepad++. You could edit in Notepad, but it's gonna be really weird. So I do recommend you downloading and installing Notepad++. Once you do have it installed, you just right click and edit with Notepad, or just double click on it. It should open with Notepad++. And it should look something like this. So here we have like all the groups that I made for you guys. So I do have a moderator group, a owner group, a donator group, and a guest group. Guest is what everyone becomes when they first join your server, and then you can like allocate different group names to their stuff like that. But what we're going to be worrying about is the users part right here. This is where you'll do the allocating. So where it says your Minecraft name here, you want to type in your Minecraft name, because this is where you will designate your Minecraft character to be the owner group, so you can have all the commands and everything. And permissions is where you would allocate like all the commands and stuff, and you don't have to mess with the permissions once you like make a new user account. You just have to put them in a group, and they should have all the commands which are below permissions. As you can see, moderators have all these over here. So and since I have an asterisk right here, that means I have every single commands there is pretty much. And if you want to add a new user to a group, what you would do is just highlight and copy this part right here. So copy, then click over here, hit enter, then paste that in, and it should be red on this name. Just backspace it a little. Hold on, backspace it a little and space it back in like that, and then you would put them in a group. So you would change someone else to be moderator, so you would put moderator, and you would change the name of whoever it is, I don't know, derp, and they would be a moderator. So that's how you would allocate a user. But I did leave the tutorial if you want to find out how to do more stuff and like that. So I'm just going to delete this user here because we don't need that. And so yeah, so once you put your Minecraft username over here, we're going to hit save over here, and that should save it, and we can exit out of this. Now we will finally start our server. So you just want to go back here, and run.bat is what you would use to start your server. Now do note that you have to have Hamachi running at all times for it to work. Now also do note that whenever you want someone to join your server, they must have Hamachi downloaded as well. That's all they need to download is Hamachi, and have to have Minecraft obviously. But yeah, so just tell them to download Hamachi, and once they have it, tell them to go to network and join an existing network. You want to click join, and then you want to tell them your network ID and password, which the ID would be YouTube tutorial server, and password would be 123. But yeah, you would do that, and they should be in your network, and you don't have to worry about that anymore. You can just minimize it or exit it out. But you do have to have it running in the background at all times. And then now we're going to finally start our server with the run.bat file. So just double click on it. Here it should start. Over here it's just telling you that this will work with all versions of 1.7 whatever and 1.8 whatever, and it should go through all that stuff right here. And there we go, we are done. As you can see, it also auto updates all the plugins and everything, so that's good. And if you do get errors and stuff, again, you'll have to refer to the frequently asked question, which should be linked down below, or just comment it below and I'll try my best to reply. Anyways, we're gonna have to also have this stuff right here running at all times, and so yeah, we're just gonna minimize it, and now we can finally start our Minecraft. Okay, let's go to multiplayer, and we're going to go and add server. Alright, we're gonna name our server. This part doesn't matter, so you just leave it as whatever. And on the address, you want to put your Hamachi IP. So if you don't remember that, just pull this back up, copy IPv4 address. You want to go ahead and hit Ctrl V on your keyboard. That should paste it. Then you want to put a colon 25565. And this is the IP that you want to tell your friend to use after they join your Hamachi network, by the way. So you want to hit done. And bam, there we go. We have our server. We have this the logo right there, and we can join. And there we go, we're in. As you can see, it made us the owner because we did that in the permissions, so that's good. Now we're gonna hit T on our keyboard. We're gonna hit slash, and we're gonna register real quick with the password. That's how you would register. And there we go. Now we can play, and that's pretty much it. So yeah, so it made you owner, and congrats, you have your server. So now let's go on over to configuring the plugins and everything like that. So yeah, also to op yourself, what you do is you would pull back up the command prompt here, and you want to type in op space your Minecraft username, and it should op you just like that. And to stop the server, you just type in stop, and it should save everything and stop the server for you. So that's how you would do that. Now I did include plugins in the Premade server. To access your plugins, you basically just open up your server folder here, go to plugins, and here we'll find all the plugins that I gave you guys. So I included Clear Lag, which is a plugin that pretty much clears lag, I guess. It removes ground items and entities and stuff like that every once in a while, so that's pretty good. Essentials is a plugin that every server, new Bukkit server has to have in order for it to function with the commands and stuff like that. So this pretty much provides tons of commands and stuff, which I'll get into later. Login security is that thing that happened when we first logged into our server, where we had to register and stuff. Permissions is like the group thing, we went over that. Plugin matrix, this is nothing, you don't have to worry about that. These are updaters, and Vault is a essential plugin core thing that you need for these plugins to function. And you can add new plugins, and this is very simple. You just go to this website called pluginsubbukkit.org. You search whatever plugin that you want. So say I want World Edit or whatever. So let's type in that here. You would search for it, and here I found World Edit. So I'm gonna click on that, and you just go ahead and hit download here. Hit download again. Usually it's not in a zip file, but let's see what it has to offer. Hit save. Do take note of what version it is for. It is for 1.7.10, however I'm pretty sure it will work with 1.8.1 because again 1.7.10 is compatible with 1.8.1. So let's go to where we saved it. Here we are. We're gonna double click on it. Let's see what there we have. So you just literally just need the jar file. That's all you need. So here in the plugins folder, what you do is just drag it in just like that. Hit X on this, and you would just start your server again, and it should make all the config files for that World Edit plugin. Hit stop. Alright, let's go to our plugins, and there we have the World Edit right there. So that's how you would add plugins. It's very simple. I'll leave the this website down below in the description as well. And yeah, so that's how you would do it. If you want me to make a tutorial on like specific plugins or reviews on plugins or top 5 plugins or something like that, just let me know in the comments section. I'll try my best and probably bring you guys those kind of videos as well. And yeah, that pretty much ends the video. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope this video helped, and if you have any problems or concerns, or if you want to make a tutorial on a specific plugin, leave them down below in the comment section. I'll try my best to reply. I might also include a FAQ link in the description if a lot of problems persist. Be sure to check out the server playlist for any other server related tutorials by me. Subscribe if you're new and like the video if it helped, guys. Peace.